right, guys, so here are 5 reasons why your hair may be feeling dry. And yes, I put it in quotation marks because there's multiple meanings on what dry means. But for me, when I say that my hair used to feel super dry, what I meant was that my hair felt very brittle, wiry, rough, and it just felt like it was missing something. And I do know that some people, their hair just naturally feels like that. Some people like just have really coarse hair or just have really wiry, rough hair, and that's fine. I'm not trying to say that something's wrong with your hair, but if you have experienced like your hair feeling one way and then like somewhere some couple years later, or as your hair gets longer, it's like turning into this other thing, that's what I'm talking about. So my hair used to be really short at one point, and when it was short, like it had so many different attributes than how it was when my hair was like almost waist length. So I've moved out of that stage and I've gotten it together, and now I'm sharing you guys the things that I dealt with and the reasons why your hair may be feeling dry. But I do want to just say, please do not take any offense to any of these things. And again, take it with a grain of salt, as you should with most videos. Everything doesn't apply to you, so don't feel so personally victimized if this sounds like, you know, I'm trying to attack anybody, because I'm not. So let's go into the first thing. So the first reason why your hair may be feeling dry is that you're not protecting your hair at night. So protecting your hair at night is very easy to remedy. All you need to do is make sure that you are protecting your hair at night with either a satin scarf, satin pillowcase, or a satin bonnet. You could use silk if you wanted to. You could use a buff if you follow I Am Black Girl Curls. You want to use a material that is not cotton. Cotton is known to draw moisture out of the hair. So you don't want to use anything like that, but you also want to make sure that your hair is in a closed environment and doesn't have too much friction going on, because that can cause frizz and it can cause split ends and all of those things. So you want to make sure, again, that you're using either a satin scarf, satin bonnet, satin pillowcase, or a buff, or some other type of thing. Let me know in the comments below what you use. And yeah, make sure that you're protecting your hair at night, because that's one of the easiest things you can fix. The second reason why your hair may be feeling dry is that you are not using enough water in your hair routine. A lot of us have been fooled into thinking that using a moisturizing product is going to moisturize your hair, because you would think that if a product says it, then it must do it. But that's not exactly how moisturizing your hair works. So there's like a whole backstory that you can follow Black Girl Curls for, but for us consumers, when we think about having moisturized hair, it's not going to come from a product. It's going to come from having water in your routine. So if you barely washed your hair, barely conditioned your hair, and then you're trying to slap some moisturizing product on your hair, and you're wondering why your hair is dry the next day, that's not really how moisturizing your hair works. Anything that is supposed to moisturize your hair, it should either be allowing water to absorb in the hair or allowing your hair to retain that water for a longer period of time, so your hair can be more moisturized over a longer period of time. Now, there's a difference between moisturized and hydrating, which is why I keep doing this, but that is a different story for another day. But for us consumers, moisturized hair is not going to come from a product. If we are going to use a product that should help us have moisturized hair, we should be using products that not only are water soluble, but have humectants such as aloe vera, glycerin, honey. All of those things are great to have in your products because they will help your hair absorb water from the atmosphere and keep your hair moisturized. So you want to make sure that you have enough water in your routine when you're washing your hair, when you're styling your hair and all of that, so your hair can be moisturized. The third reason why your hair may be feeling dry is that you are relying on protective styles too much. So we all know someone who uses protective styling way too much. I was one of those people. For at least a year or so, I was like, oh, I was the protective style queen, honey. Like, I was wearing protective styles. You did not see my real hair at all. So as cute as we thought that was, that's not really beneficial for your hair at all. So protective styles are things that usually use some type of synthetic or something hair. So when we think about protective styles, we think of box braids, or braids in general. We think of crochet braids, weaves, like sew-ins, Marley twist, like things like that, the styles that everybody think is so cute. We think of those as protective styles. And when we do protective styles, a lot of people, at least for me and in my experience, are saying, you know, they want to put their hair up. They don't want to deal with their hair. They don't want to have to style their hair every day and yada, yada, yada. So the thought process is I'm going to be lazy and not do my hair. And when we do that, we're negatively impacting our hair, because not only is that preventing us from really washing and getting into our hair good. When we get our braids and stuff, we're being neglectful to our hair, and we're not giving it what it needs. Our hair doesn't need to have that kind of, be in that kind of space for a long period of time. If your hair wasn't in the state to have braids, when you take out the braids, your hair is going to be in an even worse state. So you want to make sure that you're not using protective styling too much, because you want to make sure that you're cleansing your hair on a consistent basis, which is going to allow your hair to be more moisturized. And you want to make sure that you give your hair and your scalp time to breathe. Now, a good tip that I've seen, I want to say it was on Protected by Lisa's Instagram page. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive that's who it was. She was saying that the amount of time that you have your protective styling in is the amount of time that you need to go with wearing your hair out. So if you do 4 weeks of protective styling with your braids or whatever, you want to make sure you go another 4 weeks without those things. So you're giving your hair and your scalp a chance to breathe, but you're also giving your hair a chance to get back in a better state before you take it back into that protective styling. And another thing that I just want to shortly point out is that protective stylings aren't really that protective if we think about it. A lot of us, you know, when we take that protective styling off, we have big balls of hair, like our hair is shedding. You end up cutting your hair because you're trying to cut the braids out. You end up just doing all these crazy things to your hair. And while we think that it's growing our hair, it's not growing our hair at all. It might help us retain some length, but on the same note, it could also make your hair fall out more because of all that tension. And that's why people get braids, and then when they take them out, they have bald spot on their edges because of all that tension. So you just kind of want to be careful with it. My favorite protective style that I've just discovered this year is a wash and go. I know that's not our typical protective styling, but because I do my hair, I cleanse, condition, style my hair in an hour, then I dry it, and then I leave it alone for the week. I don't do a whole lot of playing in my hair and do all these different types of styles. The most I do is take my satin scarf off, like we talked about, and then I just like move my hair to where I want it to be and shake it, and that's it. And I go on about my week. But other than that, I don't do anything. And by day 7, I just rewash it and reset it and all of that and move on to the next week. So I don't spend a whole lot of time playing in my hair. And that's a reason why people like protective styles. But you just have to understand how to do your hair. Okay, I digress. So the 4th reason why your hair may be feeling dry is that you are using heavy oils, heavy butters, raw oils, raw butters, however you want to hear it to receive the message. You're using too much of that. So when we say raw oils and raw butters, we're talking about when you go buy a jar of coconut oil or a little bottle of castor oil, wild growth hair oil, a little tub of shea butter. That kind of stuff is raw oils and raw butters. But in the same note, you can have products where the first 5 ingredients are castor oil, shea butter, all those things. And there are some good quality products that have them high on the list, but you just have to know what's good quality and what's not good quality. Good quality probably gonna cost you a little bit more. Low quality probably not gonna be that expensive. Like if you find a product that has it and it's like $3, probably not the best quality. Probably. But anyway, so if you're using these things on your hair, let's say you're doing the lock method or the LCO method or whatever. Say you're doing the LCO method. Let's say you're doing your water or your leave-in, then your cream, and then you're putting your oil on top to seal in the moisture. Well, once that water or whatever was in your hair evaporates, your hair is just going to have an oil layer. And what most people do is they go and say, okay, well, let me add some more. So they do it again. And you're doing all of this and you're just creating an oil layer, an oil layer, an oil layer, an oil layer. And eventually that's just going to cause buildup. And If you're not going to wash your hair, you're going to create a barrier on your hair, which is going to cause your hair to be water repellent. Now, I actually had water repellent hair, and a lot of us get water repellent and low porosity mixed up, and those are two different things. So my hair now, which is in a way better state than it used to be, is low porosity. A lot of people have low porosity hair, and there's nothing wrong with having low porosity hair. Low porosity hair does not mean your hair is dry. You can have low porosity hair, and all it means is that it takes your hair a little bit longer to actually get saturated and soaking wet and like absorb the water that is being poured on it. Water repellent hair is never going to feel wet. So don't get those two mixed up, because I see that all the time on Instagram, and it's like, that's not what it is. Now that I know, that's not what it is. So when you have water repellent hair, your hair is not going to feel wet no matter how much you shampoo and all that, because you have that oil barrier on your hair. The water that you put on your hair is going to like bead up and roll off, where your hair never feels wet, and like even as you're washing it and all of that, your hair never like lays down. It's always poofy. That's, a symptom of having water repellent hair. Now, when you're having water repellent hair, you have an oil barrier that, you could remedy, but it's really hard to fix because you have constantly put all these oil layers on your hair, to the point where it's hard for any water or any product to get into your hair because you have so much buildup on top of it. And this is why when I went to my appointment and I got my hair cut, my stylist had to wash my hair like 6 times, and even then it was still water repellent. So she washed my hair 6 times to get as much oil as she could off of it. And that's really sad when you think about it. And at the time, I was just wondering what is going on with my hair, because it just felt so hard and so like dry. But it was because I had so much oil and stuff on my hair that my hair would not accept anything else. And then another thing that I want you guys to think about is that a lot of our products that we're using have oils. Even high quality products have oils and butters in them. So why do we need to go behind them and add another layer on our hair of raw oils and butters? That part, just let that marinate. My suggestion would be to, understand what it is that you like, and then do your research or join I Am Black Girl Curls online library, which is See Some Curls, and they also have a community within there where you can ask questions about products, or if you just want to get straight to the point, Black Girl Curls has a product list available where you can find products that are actually beneficial to the hair. And it will allow you to reach your hair goals, which for me is having more hydrated, healthy hair, more manageable hair. So when my hair gets longer, I won't have to dread washing my hair and doing my hair. And also being able to pass better hair care practices to my daughter, so she doesn't have to go through the hair struggles that I went through. So those are the things, that's my hair goal. So now I understand what products will help me achieve my hair goal. Oh, that was a lot. The last thing that I would say is causing your hair to be dry is that you're not shampooing your hair frequently or consistently and with a good quality product that is meant for your situation. So let's talk about what frequently is. Frequently or consistently means every 5 to 14 days. And 14 days is pushing it, especially if your hair is not in the condition to do that. But you want to wash your hair. For me, I wash my hair every 7 days. Unless I go swimming or something and have to wash it sooner. I wash my hair every 7 days. That is my set in stone plan. Now, if I miss it, I can go to day 8, or I might make it to day 6. But I try to wash my hair, around day 7 or day 8. But you want to make sure that you're washing your hair consistently, because that is what is going to make your hair feel moisturized and not make your hair feel dry. You want to make sure that you're using a shampoo every 7 days, because shampoo is what's going to get all of that dirt and buildup and everything off of your hair. So you'll have clean hair, and the water will actually get in your hair. And then when you condition it, it closes the cuticle and all that. So it allows the water to stay in your hair for a certain period of time. But yeah, you want to make sure that you're shampooing your hair frequently. Now let's go on to what is a high quality product and what is needed for certain situations. So if we're thinking of shampoo, something I learned from Black Girl Curls, I know I'm saying this like I'm sponsored by them, but I promise you I'm not. shampoo is on a spectrum. So you have your clarifying shampoos, you have your all-purpose shampoos, your moisturizing shampoos, and then your co-washes or cleansing conditioners. Now, depending on the certain situation you're in, you'll need a different shampoo. So let's say we're talking about the oils and the butters, and you're doing the lock method or something, and you're constantly putting oils on your hair and whatnot, and you continue to do that every 3 days or something. You're probably going to need to use a clarifying shampoo because that is going to strip all of that from your hair. Now, if your hair is not having all of that on there, and let's just say you just washed your hair yesterday, you probably don't need a clarifying shampoo, because that is why a lot of people say shampoo strips their hair, because that's not the situation where you would need that. Moving on, let's say you're someone like me, like let's say, for instance, this week I didn't do anything. I did not really leave the house. I didn't work out. I didn't go outside and be around pollen and the humidity. I really stayed inside the house and was like living under a rock. Could use a moisturizing shampoo because my hair is not really that dirty, and I have water soluble products on my hair, so it's easy for them to come off. That type of situation, I don't need a strong cleanser. You see what I'm saying? Different situations call for different products. Now, if you want to talk about quality, I know the products that I use are high quality because I follow Black Girl Curls and I understand the reasoning behind the products and what the products are actually made to do. So if you want to find products that are actually meant for your hair, again, follow Black Girl Curls. Anyway, that was a lot of rambling, but those were 5 things that I witnessed and experienced myself as to why my hair was dry, and that could be reasons why your hair is dry. If you have any other reasons why your hair or someone else's hair may be dry, leave them down below in the comment section. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you like this video. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my video next time. Bye.